Another day, another leaked Petehegseth scandal. It should be expected at this point that the idiots that run Donald Trump's administration won't just fail to do their jobs correctly. And doing their jobs just means serving their authoritarian king. But not only will they screw up, but they will do it in the most public fashion possible. And when they try to cover it up, it'll fail spectacularly as well. And that is what we are seeing from Petehegseth. Once again, in a breaking story out of the Washington Post detailing his criminal failings and why it looks like, as we have said for too long, without action. But hopefully, it is different this time. The beginning of the end is coming for Petehegseth. We are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way and supporting our work. Now, before we get into this latest Hegseth story, we have to start with the context of it all that Rachel Maddow broke down during the insane revelations that were also reported from the Post about the criminal murderous strikes that Hegseth was conducting. Rachel Maddow broke it down. It's the context we need before we get into this leak. So, I want to start with our friends in MSNBC.
He wants them all answerable to him, and he wants to be able to use them without restraint. And he wants to be able to use them against his own people, right? So once you're starting to think like Donald Trump does about what power really means to him, when he talks about how there can't be illegal orders by virtue of the fact that he gives an order, that means they have to do it, it gives you a real insight into what he thinks the military is for. And he wants to use them domestically, and he wants to use them for everything. And he doesn't see the value of any other form of governance. So once the U.S. military is seen as a tool like that of a leader like him, all eyes have to shift to the internal ethos and discipline of the U.S. military. Will you allow yourselves to be used this way? I mean, that ultimately may be the distinction between us becoming a dictatorship and us remaining a republic, is whether or not there is internal discipline and ethics in the United States military that prevent them from being used the way that Trump wants to use them. And having them carry out illegal orders is a great way to break those ethics and to break that discipline.
What do you think burst this story into public view? Because to your point, since go, he sent them out to the streets of American cities, which is another thing the generals warned him about in the first term, stopped him from doing. Milley and Esper, it's been reported by multiple journalists in the Oval Office after the murder of George Floyd. This is the first strike, but this has now been going on for many months.
Yeah.
After this strike, they started returning survivors. I mean, what do you think? What do you think brought this story into public view?
I don't know. And I don't have any inside information on this. This is me speculating. But I think there was a really important NBC News report about what was happening inside Southern Command. We saw the shock resignation of the head of Southern Command. Mm-hmm. He was not supposed to be leaving office. And he left office without Hegseth and Trump attacking him. There was sort of mild praise, thank you for your service. And he's disappearing, and nobody knows why he's leaving his post. Then we get that NBC News reporting that the senior JAG, the senior legal officer at Southern Command, has been essentially removed from the chain because of expressing concerns about the illegality of these strikes. Then we get follow-up reporting about there being a secret classified memo that was prepared in the Office of Legal Counsel at the Justice Department saying, you guys won't get prosecuted for this stuff, okay? We can't exactly articulate a reason why, but that's why. Clearly, there is incredible friction inside the U.S. military, including at very senior ranks, among people who know that this is wrong and who are trying to stop it, who are resigning, who are being removed from their positions because they are trying to stop it. And once you've got that kind of internal friction, once you've got that kind of internal fight, you're going to have news. I'm not saying, again, I don't have any inside information about what the source of this information is. But when you're asking people to do something that wrong and they know it's wrong and they're pushing back and it's ending careers because of it, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. We're lucky that it's coming out now while it's happening and not just as a point of history.
There is still zero rationale for the decisions that were made by this Trump administration besides the fact that they like appearing tough. They like calling it the Department of War. These are all theater kids, like they are friendless losers. Not to say that if you do theater, you're a friendless loser. Those are two separate thoughts. They are theater kids, though. Let's be real about this. Like, Donald Trump. He loves show tunes. He loves Broadway. Pete Hegseth. What was his first decision as Secretary of Defense? It was to create a makeup studio. That was number one. All he can ever talk about is how people look and whether they have beards or the appropriate haircuts. He's obsessed with doing bad, like pull UPS. This is an administration solely focused on aesthetics. But their aesthetics blow. They suck, and they don't know what they're doing. And Pete Hegseth isn't just reckless with his decisions, but they also put us in more harm's way. They put us in more danger. And that is what was revealed by this new Washington Post report leaks coming all out of the Pentagon. And it's gonna be bad news for Pete Hegseth once again. Pentagon, Pete's embarrassing new boat strike blunder exposed Pete Hegseth's bomb. First question, later approach to alleged narco-terrorists is reportedly helping those same terrorists get off scot-free. A Hegseth-directed bombing on a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Ecuador destroyed the evidence that was crucial to the prosecution of the survivors. According to a damning Washington Post report, a 42-year-old Ecuadorian native with a drug trafficking record was one of two survivors on an October 16th U.S. strike on a submarine that the Pentagon alleges was carrying drugs overseas. Two others were killed in the strike, and the fourth was extradited to Colombia. The U.S. military captured the individual, then sent him back to Ecuador to be prosecuted. However, the U.S. provided the Ecuadorian government with no evidence that could lead to the man's arrest. Any evidence proving that he was committing a crime on the boat, such as seized drugs, GPS records, or cell phones, was blasted to the bottom of the sea. The Ecuadorian government was forced to let the man go. According to the Washington Post, the failure to even apprehend an alleged narco-terrorist is in extreme odds with the 45-year-old defense secretary's tough on narco-terrorism rhetoric. If these people were drug traffickers and deserving of death, how is that you would pick them up and just let them go? Joaquin Castro, a Democrat of Texas, a member of the House Intelligence and Foreign Affairs Committee, told the Post. This also comes as it's been widely reported that Donald Trump is considering some shakeups in his cabinet, including Pete Hegseth. So the man who insists to us that he should be able to literally get away with murder, literally get away with murder in order to keep us safe, cannot keep us safe, because he's blowing up the evidence that would allow for prosecution of actual narco-terrorists. A Pete Seth is killing innocent fishermen off of any given coast. But when it comes to actually prosecuting drug traffickers, Donald Trump is pardoning them, and Pete Hegseth is destroying the evidence that would put them behind bars and actually save people's lives. This isn't just stupidity. This is stupidity that has gone so far that it's hurting you, and me, and Pete Hegseth has not answered for it yet. This is insanity. I run out of words sometimes to describe this administration because their incompetence it's not comical, and it is not surprising. It is embarrassing in a way that not just, of course, is detrimental because they screw up so much, but just makes us look stupid. I hate that the way that we present on the world stage is Pete Hegseth. I hate that every single cabinet member in this administration has had the creators was Trey and Parker at South Park. They've had to make an individual episode about each member of Donald Trump's cabinet because they are such morons in front from mockery. What type of country are we living in when it's not oh, it's fun to mock the people in power? As you always should, you should hold people accountable. But it is a civic duty of comedians to mock members of the President of the United States cabinet because they are so idiotic, bad at their job and causing fatal scandals every other day as they inject Botox in their face all over in places you probably shouldn't, in the case of Christine O'Ham, and slather themselves in makeup as they do bad. Pull UPS in the case of Pete Hegseth. These guys, let's be real, one, they're douches, they're idiots. They make us look dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. They're so obsessed with aesthetics and how things look that they don't actually get the job done. And that's the job. The job is to get the job done. Government is not supposed to be fun. And you know what's not fun? Collecting evidence, putting that together, an argument in a court of law to put someone behind bars, and make sure that we're protected going in with the bombers and saying we got them. And flexing the muscles. And And yeah, we're doing it. And Pete Hegseth and Ra like that. Sure, that's fun for these guys, but that's not what keeps us safe, right? Meticulous attention to detail is, but that's not sexy. And the people who watch Fox News can't spell those words. Okay, and so that's why Pete Hegseth loves his bravado. He loves, raw doesn't keep anyone safe. Raw doesn't prosecute anyone. If we're talking to prosecution, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of evidence that Pete Hegseth is going to want blown up and at the bottom of the sea. If you are saying right now as a Democrat, especially as a veteran, that you are going to be held accountable if you follow illegal orders when it comes time to prosecute those people, I want you fired up, right? I don't want anyone saying, well, what we have to do is move on, and that was the past. If you are standing firm right now, I know it seems like counterintuitive, but the only thing that's actually going to get them to respond now is what you do in the future, right? And if Republicans know that we're going to do the same thing that we did under Joe Biden's administration, was allow Merrick Garland to push his foot around for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years, then, I guess he's not going to jail. I guess Trump just gets to run again. The 35 toward the 34-time convicted felon. Oh, he's president now. Oopsies. Well, we respected norms. No, we're not doing that, Don. I've had enough. And that is why I'm so glad we have Democrats like Jason Crow, who's actually calling out the shit.
Just do whatever he or she wants. You have to come to Congress and get that authority. We're way outside that window. It's time for Congress to get re-involved. But then there's also the issue of the conduct of the strikes themselves. I'm a combat veteran. I did 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I saw the unedited video of that double tap strike is what it's being called in early September.
That killed survivors.
That killed survivors, and it was gutting to me because there was just no justification for that second strike. That is not who we need to be. That's not who we are as a country. That was an unlawful strike by any standard that I was trained and operated on when I went overseas.
The only way to get these morons, these Republican morons, to respond is fear and intimidation. I'm not saying like political violence. I'm not Donald Trump, okay? I'm not Charlie Kirk, not Erica Kirk. Certainly, I could be Erica Kirk 1 second. That was my Erica Kirk. I'm not saying that we need to do that, but what I am saying is that we need to let him know. You'll be held accountable, save your emails, hire a lawyer. You have broken the law. And we are going to talk about that every single day on the show. I'm so sorry I did the Eric. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let him silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.